for the damage, and Disruptor in the early levels won't be able to compete with that. That's the only reason why, for me, this flags up as a potential aggro try, just because of the initiating power and the damage power which comes out, even without having high levels, just because the Chilling Touch buff up against heroes like Disruptor, and we still don't know the secondary support, and we don't know the solo hero on the bottom lane either. And if Team Liquid get really greedy here and pick up something like a Chen, they're going to pay for it so badly, because the Chen will get destroyed the second he tries to enter that lane and try and push him out. And what are you going to do? Commit one creep there to control up the bottom lane? The Chen just walks around with his head cut off inside the jungle.
I think that, again, I think it is a possibility that you can be seeing an aggressive tri lane coming out from Cloud9. However, it has to be one of those tri lanes that you are insured to win. The basic strength of Cloud9's tri lane is not that amazing, but if Team Liquid grabs something that's even weaker than that, they could run an aggressive tri lane. Otherwise, though, I think, you know, just a defensive tri lane with a lot of pulling, or even dual lanes coming out from Cloud9. That's another possibility that if they could run up against the Invoker if they want to, and have Ancient Apparition. Because the biggest thing about both of these supports, they need a lot of levels. While Ancient Apparition has a lot of, puts in a lot of pressure at level 1 thanks to Chilling Touch, he falls off about level 4, level 5, where he doesn't actually provide a whole lot of rotation. So the faster you can get to 6, the better. And same goes with Wisp. They have the exact same pros and the exact same cons in that they don't provide a whole lot to the level 3 to level 5 area, but they become so much more once they hit their ultimates.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and with that, that Weaver pickup is really smart by Liquid.
Remaining.
Yeah, I agree. Like, out of every hero you could have, the Weaver is possibly one of the best heroes to have up against this type of tri lane. The instant invis you get from Shukuchi just lets you move in and out. They take out the Doombringer as well, expecting actually an aggro try, and that would be Sing Sing's mid-solo Doombringer. But I still fear for the supports. I still fear for the supports. You take out a hero like a Rubik, he's a good counter up against the Clockwork, but more importantly, he's also a great hero when you've got lines which are diving in, as the way Cloud9 will want to do. He'll just toss him straight back again. So he's got to try. The Rubik would be perfect to keep away from the Disruptor in the early levels. For now, though, with Cloud9, it's just a Sing Sing hero. Someone that goes up against the Invoker, it could be anybody. Sing Sing's got so many options with his last hero selection.
I think that while you're probably orienting yourself, like I would love to see more of a 20-minute style hero, something like a Puck that has a large impact. I think that Templar Assassin is actually a very, very good laner up against.
Even up against an Invoker?
Even up against an Invoker,
because got nerfed down, but is it still viable?
It's still viable, mainly because of the fact that you see a lot more Quas Wex Invokers, and you're not going to change your build, your overall game build, just over the laning phase a lot of the time. So you may not see that build coming out. If it's Quas Wex, Templar Assassin is actually really good at being able to just control CS in that lane, because you pick up a fast bottle, you have such a huge damage advantage over the Invoker, especially with the Quas build, that you just can't get last hits at all.
I'm just not seeing enough lockdown though, if they pick that. Like, what's the Suns you've really got up against the Weaver?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I want to see a more 20-minute style hero. I just think that Templar Assassin may be a possibility. Now, you're orienting yourself a lot towards the late game, but you look at Team Liquid's draft, you know, you've got a lot of a decent mid-game impact heroes like Invoker, like Weaver, but they don't have a whole lot of excessive late game. And if they don't pick up something really greedy, okay, they go for a 20-minute style hero, something that's going to be able to give a lot more room to the Morphling, and Cloud9 are going to be getting a little bit more aggressive than a more passive build.
This is a lot better hero as well to go up against the Weaver or the Invoker. Like, you win in TA, you'd never really get the upper hand up against the Invoker and the Weaver, because Invoker will just keep you at bay. Like, he's got enough controlling abilities that TA should never get close enough to an Invoker until the Blink Dagger's up and running. And Weaver, you have to also get a Blink Dagger to then nuke him down, but that's also with a Clockwork initiation. So they get more control coming out from the Night Stalker. They still get the burst damage they're searching for to kill off the Weaver, and of course the control with the silence. And then they get the ability to dive under these towers in later portion of the game with the Night Stalker. One thing though, which really just flag is we get a Vengeful Spirit now coming up. Now, I don't know about you, man, but VS stun, really great in the early game. But up against a lineup like Cloud9, if Weaver's going to Shukuchi in to be aggressive on the back of a VS stun, he's going to lose his life. If VS throws the stun, and it's slightly out of position, lose the life. it's really a high-risk lane coming out from Team Liquid. I'm still favoring C9's DPS, even though I do understand like Wisp as well as AA could really get destroyed badly. But if their combination of positioning is good for Cloud9, the shoe will be completely on the other foot. Team Liquid will lose that lane, and they'll lose that lane hard.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns for me, I wasn't that concerned about the laning phase for Team Liquid. I was more concerned about going mid to late game, how they're going to fare, because while Invoker is definitely strong, he has a lot of impact, Batrider is not as much. He's pretty dependent on some of his other heroes, so when you just have a Invoker and a Weaver going into mid to late game, I kind of question how much they're going to be able to take mid-game up against Cloud9. And that Vengeful Spirit pickup actually changes my mind, because Vengeful Spirit basically augments the abilities of a Weaver. You've got purely physical damage coming out from that Weaver, and the minus armor coming away from Vengeful Spirit, plus the extra damage with your Geminate attack is actually really, really good. So I think Vengeful Spirit is kind of one of those perfect supports for a Weaver, and it also gives them enough lane control that I'm not concerned about the laning phase. For me, I was actually thinking more of along the lines of a jungler, even something like Enigma, which has a lot more mid-game pressure rather than the early game presence. Yep. But that leaves you open to laning phase. Vengeful Spirit for me is the perfect combo of you have a lot of mid-game impact because you work well with a Weaver, thanks to minus armor and command aura. However, you still have enough lane control that you don't have to worry about the laning phase and losing that and just being snowballed against from there.
I don't know who Bulb is actually trying to troll right now.
He's trying to troll Eternal Envy, which was his name from last game. He went from Sakuya to Crumbling. I know, like, players want to be able to express their individuality or something like that, but what is wrong with the name that you've chosen? Like,
I don't know, man. But all I know is, like, International has insanely strict rules about this. Team Empire forfeited one of their games because they had a wrong name. And you know which one it was?
I don't remember.
Silent Loves Mila.
That's right. He never takes that down.
No, because he obviously loves Mila. Yeah. So, but what ended up happening was the fact that Valve said that the admin said that your name is Silent, and Silent answered back saying, "No, my name is Silent Loves Mila, because I've worn this tag for 3 years now." I think they're actually getting to a point where I think they're actually engaged now, those two. Yeah, that's gossip behind the scene. Yeah, but they were so strict saying you can't have Silent Loves Mila. It's like, but I want my name then to be Silent Loves Mila. That's my new tag. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, that went down well. And Goblack was standing there on the front lines going, I'm defending my player's integrity? My player's name is this. Why are you arguing? Why are you giving me negative? Because originally they started off saying we're going to give you penalty time. So they had less time for the draft. And Goblack says they're going, this will not stand. But the time was taken away and the game was played. And then the next time they said, well, if you don't change it, we're going to freaking like penalize you. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, like that for me is like a little bit far in the extreme. Like just having somewhere your name so players or viewers can actually like just watch the game and go, who's that? Oh, I see, it's Silent, because it's Silent Loves Mila.
Who's
like,
that girl?
I get it. Crumbling, on the other hand, like, you know, that's a little bit more cryptic.
But then again, considering the sponsors, like Cloud9's major thing that funds them is anime, it's also rather sponsor related as well.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Even though, like, you look at their flags right here, and like we got Logitech, we got Alienware, we got HyperX, and I don't see the anime. Like, where's the
Crunchyroll? I think. I don't even know.
No.
I don't watch enough anime.
So is that the way you see it?
Manga.
Well, it's crumbling, so technically it's got to have something crunchy. Because if it's crunchy, then it should crumble. Yeah. Mind blowing.
Oh no.
Moving by C9, we've got a 5-man team coming down to this bottom lane right now, and they're going to see the fact that Weaver will be down here by TC. Fluff supporting him as the as the Disruptor, and then way too sexy is the Vengeful
30
Spirit down here.
seconds
And
to
they're actually going to go with the safe lane. So
Yeah.
C9's backing themselves up. We got Clockwork, who's moving himself in a block position. Envy, who's moving up to the top lane. He's not going to make it in time to do the block, I don't believe. I might eat my words if he levels up waveform.
Yeah, except for the fact that you have an Ancient Apparition. Yeah, I didn't really
wait, no.
see a whole lot of power to this tri-lane. So, but instead, this is interesting.
They're switching it. So we're going to see Envy take the
battle
Morphling towards the middle
begins.
lane, which isn't an unconventional position for the Morphling to go. It's just an unconventional position for Envy to be placed as a Morphling. But with help from Pyrelight Die, it's a completely legitimate lane, which means Sing Sing gets the easy farming position of the Night Stalker on the top lane with the babysitting of Aoi 2000.
Yeah, you don't need two heroes in lane to be able to block out a Bat Rider, and dual lanes are notoriously strong. When you have a Wisp, you're able to actually put in a lot of pressure with Spirits level 1. You can do a lot of harassment.
Especially
Bulba,
when you got no Quas over on Bulba in the early levels.
Yep.
He's just got Exort, which means Pyrelight Die as well as Bulba end up just trading blows between each other. It's just so Pyrelight Die can force him to burn through the consumables. Pyrelight Die, though, did spend a lot of money on other items, so we're not seeing, like you see it with the No-Tail, where he goes these very, very quick bottle rushes. But I also love the fact that Pyrelight Die didn't even level up Tether. It's just spirit zoning. It's all he's doing against Bulba right now.
I mean, honestly, middle lane is one of the harder. You have to actually watch a lot of mid lane supports are very, very fun to watch because how they harass the enemy hero is actually a lot harder than any other lane, because otherwise you're going to be drawing creep aggro, and that's not what you want to do. So a lot of heroes like Wisp, like Silencer, those are the heroes that actually excel at mid-game or middle lane harassment.
Yep. Speaking of which, so waveform's already been used on Bulb, but now he's got his points up in Quas and pops off his Salve. So as far as these lanes go, they had to rotate way too sexy in towards this middle lane. They needed the extra help from him. There was no other choice for this. But with all the other lanes, man, like now Bone7 gets a lot of space in the bottom lane. He's up to level 3 down here as the bottom lane Clockwork off laner. And up towards the top lane, Coip has burned through every bit of his consumables. Now, this is a horrible lane for him because he has to feed more consumables up to the top lane. So he's just got one new Tango set. But also the fact that eat through that, but he keeps giving life and mana over to Night Stalker to keep harassing. Because he's been using the sticky napalm non-stop to try and shut down Sing Sing's farm, and nothing has really worked for him.
This has always been the advantage of Dire side offlane, while Radiance, Radiant side offlane is you have access to the hard camp if you want to be able to pull it. Aoi is doing something pretty interesting here. He's intentionally blocking it. So instead of trying to get double pulls up against a Bat Rider, which is a pretty dangerous thing to do, he's just flat out blocking it out.
He's going to initiate right now with 4 points up in the sticky napalm. He's got enough damage to finish this off, and he will get it. Diving under the tower for the first blood. And you got Night Stalker. He did the only thing he could do, which is run up high, but this is not a worthy trade. First blood or not, you just gave a solo kill to a Night Stalker before we head into the first nighttime phase.
I think that trade is fine. First blood
okay
is
with
a
that?
lot of gold. Absolutely. I mean, first blood is a lot of gold, and it's a lane that Bat Rider is already doing really well in. So him being able to pick up level 4 off of that, I think that's great. It's a faster Blink Dagger for him. Faster Trinket.
Middle lane, they're going in on Bulba right now. Morphling, nah, he doesn't have enough DPS to follow it up. See, I'm not 100% with it because I'm still thinking the Night Stalker's impact coming into the mid game is really going to hurt the other lanes. Bat Rider by himself with the gold, that's great. But he needs more than just saying, well, I got a little bit of extra gold to start. Like they're dealing with Morphling is getting buffed up by the bottom movement of Pyrelight Die, or I should say that's actually the bottle of Eternal Envy using it on Pyrelight Die while they're tethered up. So small little thing to note. But Sing Sing's movement into this middle lane is really going to start hurting Team Liquid more than I think. Like, that's the other reason why I said what I said.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's not a great trade-off because you don't want to feed Night Stalker, who is already free farming, any more extra experience in gold because he's already going to be a terror going into the mid game, and that's your biggest threat right now. Is looking at it. You've got a Weaver, a Bat Rider, Invoker. Those heroes are shut down. If a Night Stalker can get up his basic items, a lot of mana and something like an armlet, so he can output a decent amount of physical damage as well. He's going to be very, very scary the second and third Night nighttime of this game. So it is definitely a trade-off. However, I'm fine with it just as long as he doesn't do it again. It's only because of first.
They're coming top lane, and this is really smart by Liquid. They come up with already 6 napalm stacks over on Sing Sing. It's a very quick and easy kill. And now,
wings if you're not gonna fly.
100% worth it for what Team Liquid did on the top lane before.
Yep.
They rotated up perfectly. 4 minutes hit. Nighthawks normally get a little bit greedy in this first minute of the first nighttime cycle because it comes a little bit earlier than it used to, which means you sit back and you farm up. And then VS came up at the perfect time. With that many napalm stacks, things have to be more defensive.
Yeah, and I was going to say, look for this Vengeful Spirit to start rotating as soon as Invoker picks up level 4, level 5, because that's when you have Forge Spirits, and an Egg Sword Forge Spirits build is very, very strong versus dual lanes because the support can't harass you at all. So once you actually have Forge Spirits up, you're good to go. As an Invoker, you no longer really need that support in lane. So way 2, he can roam, he can go bottom, he can go into this top lane, he can even stack up if he wants to. That would be some small thing if he wants to be able to make sure the Bat Rider gets a fast Blink Dagger as humanly possible. Start stacking up that hard camp rather than sitting in lane. So you still have some sort of impact, but you're also leaving Bulba to be able to pick up that full mana experience in that middle lane.
Yeah. And one other side effect of what just happened up at the top lane, there's no one on bottom. Clockwork rotated in towards the middle lane to try and find a kill there. We have a Hand of Midas farming Weaver on the bottom lane for TC. His net worth is almost above that of the Morphling, but right now, it's not going to stay that way. They've given TC a really good start down here on the bottom lane.
There are very, very few times that I've seen this, but look at Pilot Eye.
Was it? He's farming up.
This is very, very patient way to farm up on a Wisp, but he stacked up the hard camp and is now farming it up with Wisp Spirits, which is a really slow way to clear a camp, but it's still him being able to leave full experience to Morphling in middle. He knows he can't put pressure on the Invoker anymore because Forge Spirits is up, but he still needs to be able to pick up his level 6, so he's doing the only thing he can right now, which is stack and clear through it with Spirits.
Considering he leveled him up to 2 points, yeah, it's doable. He is definitely living life very much on the edge while he's doing this, pushing the bottle to the absolute max. All right, it's like running a great jungler right now. That speed that he went through the camps, like it's patient, but it's also very, very effective for him. It's probably the same rate as you see even in SK to be able to do his farm. But yeah, for right now though, we noticed that Sing Sing's gone back up towards the top lane, and is just not actually buying up anything either. This is where I'm worried we're going to see a second nighttime phase Night Stalker from him, and we see Hand of Midas come up for Sing Sing instead. Because he's walking around with 1,700 gold right now. The courier just went back to base, and it just bought, yep, and 100% on the money. Sing Sing will go ahead of Midas. They're not going to initiate here in the first stage, which could be a real big mistake, because Quoifer has 2,400 gold, which means Blink Dagger is now here for Liquid, and we're not even 8 minutes into the game.
I would say that, yeah, I expected him to be a little bit more aggressive because he picked up Darkness, but alright, they got the kill bottom. Looks like they caught out Bone 7 because Fluff and Stuff picked up his level 2 Glimpse, and as soon as you pick up level 2 Glimpse, you're actually a real big terror to offlane heroes because 1,000 cast range is huge. Like at level 1, it's not that big of a deal because you could just stay 600 range away from the Disruptor, but 1,000 is completely different. So once he starts running at you, you're already within glimpse range, and you either have to turn and fight, or you run away and you get glimpsed back into a bad position. You're pretty much screwed no matter what. So just goes to show, Bone 7 has to be really, really careful against this lane. And I love the way Way 2, he's really moving around the map. Like he was just bottom, got that kill, now going top and is going to smoke up with Koifa to try and shut down this top lane.
Yeah, they realize when they see the Hand of Midas over on Sing Sing, he's the primary man to lock down. If they give Sing Sing this space during this daytime to just keep farming up there, then they could really start to bite him in the ass. Ganking up Morphling, very, very difficult thing to do. He's got a lot of farm. Pilot Eye is also going to be there to back him up if things get rough. Clockwork, obviously a lot easier to gank up because his cogs work against him, which is probably exactly what happened on the bottom lane. But this is a really good read by C9. They realize what's going on. They send Sing Sing into the jungle. They realize that the Vengeful Spirit is missing again, and Koifa, he was gone long enough that the Blink Dagger is up and running. So they'll get vision of this now up on the top lane, and it's going to be very, very patient and defensive here, Cloud9. They can't fight up against this. There's got to, I want to say almost they're banking on Eternal Envy just becoming completely unstoppable because Bulba, with this Quas Exort kind of build, he's not really ready to fight up against a Morphling. Like, there's no high level of control that helps him set up for the Bat Rider and the Weaver follow-up. He's meant to be a killing kind of guy, but you can't kill a Morphling.
A Quas Wex build is usually better up against a Morphling because Morphling is pretty mana dependent, so if you can burn through that with an EMP, you're in a really good position. However, I do like the damage build of the Exort build and the power it will give you because I don't foresee Weaver just being enough when it comes to that physical damage. So Invoker being able to combine with both the pure damage of, you know, Sunstrike and that sort of thing being thrown down, which is really, really devastating, mixed in with really good auto attacking damage, I think that'll be a pretty potent force. That being said, I want to go back to the Night Stalker Midas. This is more about the levels, I believe, than necessarily the farm. And that's actually one thing that often falls to the wayside is Midas gives you a lot of extra experience. So pretty experienced, needy heroes like Night Stalker, like Luna, those sort of heroes that get big upgrades once they get to like level 11, 12, and 13. Midas is actually a pretty good pickup if they can farm it up early enough. And I think that's why you see so much Midas nowadays. And I think that's the one way that you really nerf it if you want to be able to control the numbers of Midases being picked up is decrease the amount of experience you get from that item pickup.
BO3's coming in from the side with an Invis Rune. Now he's going to scat out Coit for right now, as well as the fact that Fluffer stuff came up here and the smoke, it broke on Fluff. It broke on Fluff. They realized they just got watched by a hero in close range as well.
Dire's
Which is why now
Aoi
hides behind the tree line, and Batride's got no other choice but to dive in deep. Yep. If he wants this kill, the pins are coming out saying exactly where Aoi 2000 will be hiding, and they're going to see him in the corner. The question is now, does C9 want to try and help him? They have Relocate available on the Wisp, and he is currently tethered to Eternal Envy. Yep, we're jumping up top lane. Unfortunately for them, Liquid have already backed up.
So that was a really smart play by Koipa, right? He read the fact that he was going to be diving in too deep, and once he saw the relocate, a fast blink. So in the end, they trade what was a wasted smoke in exchange for a wasted relocate. That's not terrible, but Cloud9 are doing a really good job of reading Liquid's aggression and playing passive when they need to. However, they still have to worry about the fact that TC is free farming. He's going to get that faster Lincolns.
Bottom. Koipa, he TP'd out from the top lane, went straight to the bottom lane, which means Blink, Lasso, they put the buffs in him, the Sunstrike gonna drag him back a little bit closer towards it, and now Sing Sing, he's dead. I think he even tried to void up there at the last moment to maybe get something, but yeah. Sing Sing will go down here on the bottom lane. Liquid get themselves the 4th kill here in this matchup.
Yep, Liquid are doing a really, really good job right now staying ahead. They're about 1,500 gold ahead, 2,000 experience. Cloud9 are just pretty much doing every kind of small thing that they can to still stay in this game by doing things like jungle when they're playing passive. Top lane, though.
Yeah, now in 2000 really called out. Again, Bulba coming through with a Sunstrike. That's a very off-target hook shot coming out from Bone7.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Romanian juice must not be flowing tonight because that was well off target. And I don't know if they're searching for a kill there on Fluff and stuff. They might just pinged out the fact he just put down a new observer ward.
But we're into our second nighttime right now, and Sing Sing still hasn't made a whole lot of rotations. But Night Stalker really isn't at his full strength until he has that maxed out passive. And I think that's what you're going to be going for. It's a little bit more later rotations coming out from Cloud9 with that Night Stalker, which is a little unusual, but I think it's the right play looking at the aggression of Team Liquid and how they are really putting a lot of pressure.
That was beautifully played by Aoi. He threw the ulti out to start with just to harass down TC, and TC for a moment just hesitated at the tower, and now in 2000 was able to get the deny in. Even the attack which was coming out from Weaver, they used the fortification right on the moment when that attack, like that one attack that was in mid-air would have taken down the tower. So fortification timing was nice, and that's the first tower going down this map for this first game. And it ends up going technically the way of Liquid, but with the denial, they really missed out on a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge pickup because Weaver and timing on Weaver is really, really important. Like the faster you get Lincolns, the better. Like obviously, the better your win rate. But there's a huge gap between picking it up 15 minutes and picking it up at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes because the Lincolns is good because it allows you to farm aggressively, but the next item pickup is where you see the big jump in win rate for Weaver. When you have that Desolator
Dire's
or
middle
other
tower
damage
is
item,
under attack.
sometimes there are other builds like MKB, sometimes even a Crystallis being picked up fairly early, but most of the time it's going to be a Desolator, and that Desolator timing is so key. So Weaver, the faster you can get Lincolns, the faster you go to Deso.
If Sing Sing commits to this right now, he's basically got to run himself down through this direction and then just into way too sexy. If he does that, he would have had a guaranteed kill. Underneath the tier 1 tower, though, is a question mark for him, and I think that was the main reason why he didn't dive it in. That would have been just an easy pick-off, which I'm really surprised. Sing Sing, for a player we're just normally so aggressive with the Mirana, he's been so defensive with this Night Stalker. So we get ourselves a pause game. Now, I'm just going to check the vision.
No, he's not. Yeah, I was just checking that too. I was like, oh, that could have been a terrible pause, but it's still firmly nighttime right now. So he's not going to see him, but I've already seen TC. Once Ancient Apparition comes forward in lane, he plays a little passive because he knows he's really, really scared right now of this Night Stalker and the silence that could absolutely destroy him. So he's playing really passive. He's getting his way towards that Lincolns. Once he has the Lincolns, he has nothing to fear. But for now, he's playing pretty passive, so I don't expect him to get caught here.
I'm just going to also point out what's at stake for the winning of these games right now. So as far as the matches go, Team EHUG are in a horrible position. Force Sweet Revenge have already been KO'd from the tournament. They went 0-8 and we removed 2 teams. We removed 3 teams from the first stage where we saw Denial, Swag, as well as PSST get removed out from the American division. And so far, Force Sweet Revenge has been removed. EHUG, with their results early today, go 2 for 4. So more than likely they will be removed. But the bonus points is really where this kicks in hard. Now, Cloud9 are sitting at 4 for 2 right now. This is their last official match here in the stage 2 of the T.K.O. 3 teams to advance, but they dragged through 7 bonus points from their first round because they went 7 for 0. So no matter what happens, they were already going to qualify themselves through. They had no problem with that.
Dire's
the Team
middle
Liquid still
tower
be
is
careful
under
because
attack.
they've only got 3 bonus points to the 2 bonus points of EHUG. So if EHUG can get a couple of games up on Team Liquid, or just 1 game over on Team Liquid, they'll force a tiebreaker. For now, though, we finally get to watch this battle on the bottom lane. Unfortunately for Sing Sing, though, the second he tries to initiate in, he gets glimpsed straight back out again. So there's just no way for C9 to initiate. For all those details, by the way, for the tables, check out MLG.com, MLG.joindota.com.
Yep, the machine was not caught unawares, man. The TC is a very, very reliable carry. He knows when to play passive. He has really good game sense of when there's oftentimes ganks coming his way, and he was able to just kind of read what was potentially going to happen.
Dire's
Looks like
bottom
Sing Sing,
tower
interesting.
is under
A point
attack.
booster is a good pickup, but ooh.
Lasso Dragon Owie out. The TP support's coming in. And Koitfa, hook shot. Again, off target and also too short. Which means now the rest of Liquid feel confident. In fact, they just switch it up. They come top lane. They realize the relocate's going to drag him straight back up here. So they go on both Bone 7 as well as him. And Bone 7, he put the Cognitive Trance by himself in space. In fact, he will do so at the end of the day. It doesn't save his life, however. 7 for 1. Team Liquid, they're making all the right plays. They exploit the fact that C9 came in to defend it, and they capitalize. A quick smoke, quick TPs, and they keep this
Dire's top
momentum,
tower
pushing it
is
down
under
to tier 1
attack.
tower. And that's TC's also Lincoln Sphere done. So that's 16 minutes in.
Perfect. With the Vengeful Spirit, this is actually something, you know how you sometimes see Weavers go armor?
Highlight die, really? TB's in the defense. He's going to tether back and finds Koitfa, who runs away. But Fluff and stuff, he actually, Invis is taking up a couple of the balls here. They make it to the going for this because the Static Storm is still there. Okay, Pardai gets another, like, he's like the walking sonar.
Pinging away with his
Dire's
Spirit
middle
Balls.
tower is under
That was a
attack.
really good play, and Liquid, because
Radiant's
of the
bottom
Vengeful
tower
Spirit
is
pickup,
under
it
attack.
allows the Weaver to be a lot more aggressive.
Dire's
Now they
middle
just took
tower
middle tier
has
1
fallen.
tower with Bulba pushing it in. I think they can get pretty aggressive right now. Before the Morphling has Lincolns up, they can, like, the Weaver with a Vengeful Spirit will actually be able to have a lot more teamfight impact than this Morphling. So I think once they finish up that Lincolns, just go all in and get aggressive and try and force down some of these towers and take some map control before a shotgun is up for that Morphling.
Koitfa I don't know how many times I've followed this with a camera where he's tried to initiate in on Aoi 2000, and every time he comes in and lets off the Firefly, Aoi just backs up. Didn't see Koifa come in then, because the TP was behind the tower and in the tree line, and when he came up to Firefly, he still didn't see him. But Aoi 2000, either the calls are coming out perfectly, or he's just got some fantastic game sense to realize when this Bat Rider is searching for him.
Yeah, it's probably just his fantastic game sense. Like, honestly, Aoi is one of the more impressive players on Cloud9. There's a lot of really good talent, but AUI is just so amazing, especially since he's been able to make that rotation from carry to
Volva, Bone 7. This time, hook shot's going to land. When it counts, Aeoli is going to cock him up, though. There was no cogs. And I know he knew there was, like, Fall Staff available, which is probably the main reason why he didn't want to do it, but still, they didn't control. The tier 1 tower go down, but they lost Morphling on this top lane, and the relocate for Pylite died. Well, he goes absolutely nowhere. He tried to drag the Morphling a little bit further back. Now Koifa comes in middle lane. Sing lassoed up. There's a haste rune on Koifa, who doesn't need a 4-star right now. Into a cold step on a Sing. Can't run himself away. Bone 7 in the middle of this fight with the Blade Mail up is causing Volva a lot of troubles, but he doesn't have enough life points. Now the VS follows up Zan Koifa. He's got this entire mid lane on fire. 12 for 1. Everything is out of control. C9 haven't lost a tier 2 tower, but yeah, I was going to say, you just called it GG.
Yep.
This game is over.
They are so far ahead. Team Liquid,
Team
damn.
Liquid victory.
They just, I mean, I thought their draft was really, really good. Like, props to Plus. I thought it was a strong draft and everything else. But the way, it was mainly came down to the supports, right? Especially Waytune, the way he moved around the map put a ton of pressure on Cloud9. The fact that Bat Rider Koifa has always been just a solid player for Team Liquid. He's next to Bulba.